Hi, Dustin here. I'm going to start with a short story, and so as not to waste the time of the people who might not be interested. What you're going to do is you're going to buy a cheap snow shovel, probably 4 or 5, and switch out the handle with a piece of PVC. It's that simple. That's the story. Now, when you put this snow shovel under the snow, there's about 10 pounds of snow, and you start to lift the snow, what happens is the snow stays put, and the handle starts to bend as your back straightens. And now, when your back is fairly straight, the snow begins to come up, and it's got a whole bunch of potential energy there, and you can throw it a mile. And it just makes snow shoveling fun. End of short story. Now, those of you who would care to stay with me for the long story, I am again Dustin, and that's my name, and here's my website if you want to buy a wooden spoon for somebody for Christmas. And here's the story. A friend of mine named Jim Sindelar was retiring as professor of engineering at the local trade school, and he invented this snow shovel and started to produce them in his own home shop, and he was quite excited, and he sold them to his friends, I being one of them. And he made these 2 models, and he considered this one the gentleman's model and this one the lady's model. I disagreed with him and continue to disagree. The shovel has to match the snow. That's the trick for these things, in my opinion. So I bought a bunch from him and gave them to all my family for Christmas. And the thing about these shovels is the people who use them won't use anything else. And they demand, after about 5 years when they wear out, they demand to have more. And the other side of the coin is you can't sell them because the hardware stores won't take them because they don't want a shovel that people are going to bring back and say, hey, the handle's floppy. They don't want a shovel they have to explain to everybody they sell it to, and the manufacturers won't make them because of the same reason, and so it's a kind of an odd thing. So my suggestion is you make them up for yourself, and you don't try to commercialize it. But let me show you a few that I've made. My family demanded them, and Jim stopped making them, so I made them up, and here's one, and that's a little bit of a shorter handle, and the trick is, well, we'll get to the trick later, but I want to show you a few things. This is, of course, my contribution to the engineering. You want to talk about engineering? Haha! Let's get a good picture of this. Here I am with my 6-footer. This is dynamite on powder. You wouldn't believe it. You get this thing under some deep powder, and you can lift it without even trying, and you can throw it a mile. Let's just give it a little test here. Let's see what we got here. This is probably 1 inch inside diameter, okay? Yeah, look at that. Mystery. This could be a medieval weapon. And I love it. I love it when the snow comes down light and fluffy. And here's a 4-footer, or maybe there's a 5-footer. That the shovel has to match the snow. So you need to make a bunch of them, and of course when you do, you get better and better at it. Here's a couple of failures. Wood doesn't work very well for the connections. You need to make connections somehow, and wood tends to hang on to water. It always breaks down here. Jim's problem was they kept breaking down here. I solved that for myself. I'll show you how I solved that. by using the material that came from the original shovel. So here's the original shovel, and this is a steel pipe. Which I cut out. There it is there. And I used that piece of steel pipe. Where is it? Probably, yeah, here it is. This is the one I'm making up a dozen of these for Christmas. So there's the steel pipe right there. There's the steel pipe right there. And you want to buy a shovel that has screws. See the Phillips head screws here, and then the handle. Because all you do is draw out the screws. You cut the handle out and smooth out the edges, of course, inside and out. Pull out the screws, shove in the PVC. This is probably 3/4, and put the screws back in, top and bottom, handle, and you're golden. And you're golden there. So really, I can't think of too much else to tell you. Here's one I did this morning just to see if I could. And this one, I put of course, the steel fits the handle that came on the shovel that you bought for $8. And your $2 worth of PVC comes from Lowe's or someplace. And what I did with this is I heated it and jammed it, and that worked pretty well. I haven't put any screws in it yet. I may not even need to, but I expect I will. So there's one way. If you want to use heavier stuff, you're going to want to make a heavy one. You're going to want to make a light one. It's a terrific hobby. Have fun, and Merry Christmas.